everyone, this is the Depressed Eeyore, and this is Labyrinth of Touhou. Sorry, my mouse is on the screen again. Alright, as you can probably see from these little saves, you can see the playtime, number of battles, the level of whoever's showing on the screen, and the floor you're on. This just represents the highest floor you've reached so far. So it's possible to go back and forth on floors. There's some sections where it's like a puzzle, multi-floor puzzle type thing. But it just shows whatever your highest floor you've been to. So this is my finished game. You can see it's higher level, over 5,000 battles and hit 430, and then this one only has like 400. The number of battles isn't really that important, but there is a special event and a certain boss that can only be encountered after you've done 500 battles. Besides that, number of battles isn't important, it just means you've done a lot more grinding. So there you go, let's go ahead and continue. Where we left off, we did an introduction of the setting in the game, pretty much. We have 5 characters to start out with, as you can see here. This is the main menu. You can open this menu both in the village and in the labyrinth. As you can see, you can decide your formation. It's standard, I guess you could say, Final Fantasy rules. People on the far left get attacked more often than those on the right, and certain attacks that are like row-based do the most damage to the left and do the least amount of damage to the right. For full AoEs, it doesn't really matter, and sometimes they do attack the back row. It just, it's not as often. Equipment. All characters have 3 equipment slots. You can equip any item. You can equip multiple items if you have multiple of that item. And the effects will stack. So there are various items that increase for the stat-based items, it's percentage, though it's not an exact percentage, it just represents, I don't know the exact math behind it, but just know that the higher the percentage, the more bonus you'll get to that value. For the status, it's not percentage, it's just the raw value, so if you have something that's like 20 death resist, it will give you just 20 points. So there you go. As far as resistances go, for like status effects, the key number is about 30. If you go a little higher than 30, it's a bit safer, but if you're at 30, you're pretty much good for most fights. Other than that, I think that's... status screen, as you can see, it shows skills and stats, but the main thing it does show is also spells. As you can see, every character has a variety of spells. These are the only spells these characters will know. So Remilia only knows 2 spells, and Sakia knows these 5, and these 5, and these 5, and so forth. You'll not learn any new spells, but in some cases you will not be able to use certain spells simply because you can't afford the cost. Like, this one costs only 16, but Master Spark costs 160 SP, and right now Marisa only has 103, so she came and used the spell. So it's just something you need to be aware of. And a lot of these spells will mention things like accuracy and stuff. There is an evasion stat in this game, but the evasion stat is broken as of like several versions ago, and it was never fixed. So accuracy is not important. So if it's mentioned in the thing that its attack is very inaccurate, don't worry about it. It doesn't mean anything. Also, that means that evasion is completely useless in the game, and you should never level it up nor equip any items that involve it. Well, you can equip items that have it, but it better have other stats along with it, to put simply. So the evasion items are practically free cells if you get a lot of them. So there you go. Just to go ahead and review what characters you start out with. As I said, you start out with 5 characters. Remilia is currently your tank character. She has very good stats, decent HP, and very good growth rates. She just levels slow is her bad thing, and she's kind of slow. Not too slow though. Actually, never mind, she isn't that slow. I'm getting mixed up. But she has 2 spells. She knows Spear of Gungnir, which is her primary attack spell. It's a single target, and it's rather strong. You can't really go wrong here. Also, a neat benefit for her is you can see that she has 30 silence and death resist, which is a good start for a tank-like character. But usually, once you get better tanks, she'll kind of just put it in the second slot, which is still a really good place for her. defense by a great amount, but it has a high chance of inflicting poison and paralysis, which right now she has a very low resistance to. So this spell is kind of bad right now. It's not really worth using it ever, because being paralyzed and poisoned is not good, since you won't be doing anything and you'll just be losing hit points. Sakia is good in the early game as like a clearing type character, like just, you know, wiping out massive groups of monsters as you explore dungeons. A lot of her spells are, she has 2 multi-target spells, Misdirection and Soul Sculpture, with Soul Sculpture being stronger but more expensive. Killing Doll is a single target spell, but it's her biggest deal is defense tends to stop her attacks, so as things get stronger, her attacks can become less useful, I guess you can say. But the main reason most people have Sakia is for her Lunar Clock ability, which right now she doesn't have enough SP to use, but it's a mass speed up spell, which is great. Having speed up in boss fights is very, very useful, because it means you get more turns than after before the boss kills you. Her final ability is the World, which has a very weird animation to it. It shows the stand from what's that show, that anime called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and it's all it is a self speed buff that's really, really fast. It makes it really fast. It's like 100%. Lunar Clock is about 50% bonus. Marisa is a nuker. She doesn't have as much raw power as Patchouli, but she actually has some, but she's faster and a little bit more durable. She also has really good stat defenses, which makes her a little bit more viable to stay out in the field without those worries. Her biggest disadvantage, though, is the fact that all of her spells are one element, which is Mystic. So if you encounter things with Mystic resistance, she is practically useless. But she can be very good as a boss slayer if you take advantage of her concentration spell. It's a spell which is a self buff that increases her magic a lot, and then use Master Spark. Master Spark is even though it costs 160, but when you cast the spell, it uses up all your SP, and the more SP you have, the higher the bonus to the damage is. So as you can see there, it maxes out at 800% magic, which means if I had that much magic to SP to spare, it would do 67 times like 8. So there you go. But yeah, so there you go. And the other spells are just AoEs mainly. The Magic Missile single target. This is row, and this is multi-target. So there you go. She's just a nuker, good for clearing. She can be good for boss slaying if you use her on the right bosses. I've never really used her that much. I kind of drop her off once I get better casters, or my personal preferred casters. Patchouli I've used a lot in my other playthroughs. She's the ultimate mage. She's very, very slow, very, very weak to physical, very little hit points. But she has very high magic and very high mind, which is magic defense. So she can in certain boss fights, which is all magic based, she can just stay out and tank all the damage because magic doesn't really do much to her. The main thing about her though is all of her spells are, except for Silent Celine, are multi-target, and they're all different elements. Royal Flare is generally her best spell. Then for mass nuking, it does a lot of damage, but it's also her most expensive spell. Well, tied for the most expensive spell. And it's fire-based, so if you encounter something that's fire-based, it's not going to work so well. She has Princess Undyne, which is just cold element, mass AoE, not as strong as Royal Flare, but cheaper as well. And these are all the same cost. So Jin Gus is just a wind element version. Satellite Himawari is nature element, which is earth. And then Silent Celine is her non-element spell that's single target, and it's very good for piercing through defenses. It says it has low accuracy, but that doesn't mean anything. And also, it's her only normal delay spell, because all of her spells uses Royal Flare, she goes down to about 0 in her action bar, and that means she has to fill the entire action bar up before she acts again. But Silence Lane, I think you have like a little bit more of your action bar left, so it doesn't take as long to get to your next action. But also show that off later. And finally, actually I could have just scrolled, but the other character, the main character, is Reimu. Reimu is the healing buffing type mainly, but she has some other uses. She has spirit-based damage attacks. They're not too bad, but you're not going to really use her for nuking. Our Orb is a single target. Evil Sealing Circle is a row type, but it also has the chance of causing paralysis. So right now she's our first status dealer in the group. Fantasy Seal is her most powerful attack. Yeah, it's her strongest attack, pretty much. It also the thing about Reimu's attacks though is they use both attack and magic, which means it takes both my attack stack and my magic stat into account when doing damage. But this also means that it uses the enemy's defense in mind. So this can be this can cause issues. I don't remember the exact values. There's actually a wiki that shows very detailed description of all the spells. But there you go. Exercising Border is one of her best spells. It's a group healing spell, and it's what will make her a primary healer for most fights if you choose to have her as a healer. And Great Hakurei Barrier is her buff, which does defense in mind to the entire party, 50%, which is tied with it's pretty much tied with the best defense mind buffs in the game. I think there's only one better, but that has like bad side effects to it. So there you go, that's all 5 of our starting characters, and that's about it. So let's go ahead and get things started a little bit, explore our strange places, and go into the dungeon. And there we go, first floor. There's going to be always this introduction for each floor. I didn't get to read the name, and the name, unfortunately, which is up here, I'll show it with my mouse, is slightly cut off on this window, unfortunately. It's like the road hewn from nature, I think is the name. The wiki does have the full names, I believe, for most of the floors. So, there's some introductory dialogue. They're a little shocked about what they just found. They went into this vortex and now they're in a forest, for the most part. Yeah, nondescript grove of trees. And Remelia is mentioning X-Death's Castle from Final Fantasy IV. And some other game that I'm not, or probably an anime that I'm not familiar with. It's pretty much still like it's the first floor, it's supposed to be easy. If it was X-Death's Castle, we'd be all dead. And now Reimu wants to go back already. even Remelia agrees. So Patchy's kind of concerned about the group. So there you go. We start out in this little hex. As you can see, not much is shown. We only see we can see one space. We can see the space we're on and the space around us. But there is no fog of war. So as I reveal the map, it will stay revealed. I can open my menu here, just showing that off. And there we go. If I press the A key, it opens my map and it'll show an updated map of what I can see right now. So there we go. Also, if I hit the M key, it will increase my encounter rate to max, and well, for my next step only, and make it an instant encounter, which is good for grinding if you want to grind. At the bottom left, where you see this little percentage here, I'll show it with my mouse. There it is. That's kind of your encounter rate. As it gets that number on the left gets higher, it increases the chance that your next step will be an encounter. So right now, there's an 11% chance that my next step will be an encounter, and now it's 16%. I don't think it's exactly a percentage, but it's something like that. Actually, I think it's 21.3%. There you go. I think that's what it's supposed to be. I can barely see the little period. So there you go. We'll go ahead and reveal this map. And I forgot to change the music. So let's go ahead and show off the combat real quick. see there's little white bars under each of these monsters. Like you can see that. You can also, if you highlight them in combat, it'll show their names: Orange Kodamas and Blue Wisp. If their bar is blue, that means there are actions coming up. As you can see, all of our characters have the same speed, so they all have full blue bars already. So there you go. You can attack. Attack uses your raw attack stat to deal damage, and for most cases, unless you're using a very, very high attack person, like Flandra or something, you're not going to do any damage with normal attacks. So it's all about spells. So we can go... But we're not going to worry about those spells. See? Do very little damage. 18 damage. It didn't really do anything. But if I do something like Misdirection, I do a little bit more damage to everything. Apparently she's not strong enough, though. We'll go ahead and do our Earthlight Ray. Do some more spells. And we killed all but one. And we'll just use the spell. Now the key thing about exploring, well, okay, first of all, we found an item, Ancient Flying Squirrel. We get skill points. We get 15 skill points and 14 experience. So if I do this, all 14 experience goes to each party member. It's not split. Skill points goes to your skill point total. The way experience works is everyone gets experience. I believe those in your 12-person party get max XP, and those who are not in the party get only about 85% of the XP, which is still a decent amount. So there you go. So even if you don't use a character, they'll still be gaining experience, and you can level them up if you ever want to use them. So there you go. So we did pick up an item, so let's go ahead and take a look at it. Ancient Flying Squirrel gives plus 10% HP. So right now, without any bonuses, it does do exactly 10%. But for things like skill ups and stuff, it kind of distorts what they use. I think it just does 10% of your base, but I'm not entirely sure. But for right now, it's 10%. So there you go, get some extra HP. Right now, with their HP, they can actually die in one hit from these monsters. So it's a good idea to kill things before they can kill you. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go back to Gensokyo real quick. If you look at the bottom down here, I'll show it with my mouse, you can see that our SP didn't come back. And also our TP went down by 1, which means the way it works is you lose 1 TP a fight. Well, all participating people in the front row lose 1 TP, just as a base. Any damage you suffer will increase this up to the increased amount of TP you lose. So if you take a 1 point of damage, you're losing 2 TP that fight, unless you manage to heal up before the end of the fight. Also, it goes up to about 5. Like if you're very, very wounded, you'll lose about 5 to 6 TP. So that's something to keep in mind. What TP is kind of like stamina points. And if you run out of stamina, that character will go, I gotta go, and just go back. And they'll leave your party, and they'll just be back. They'll be back at the mansion, and if you return to Gensokyo, you'll be able to, get them back. So it's something to keep in mind. Really, you don't. All it does is kind of give you an excuse to go back to recover and stuff. But in some cases, like in certain gauntlet type scenarios, TP can be kind of very important, because if your TP is too low, you can't swap that character out in combat, and that can really cause some issues. So let's go ahead and return back to Gensokyo. Yes, really. And as you can see, once we got back, we went and we completely restored our SP. But the reason I came back was just so I can go here, change the music, because I don't like the battle music for the plus disc. And let's go back in. Alright, so we're back here again. Let's continue our exploration. And this little exclamation mark, let's step on it. As Reimu is, as you notice, Reimu is questioning about this exclamation mark. Of course, Marisa is mentioning those games where you die in one hit, and probably it was bad to touch it. And Sakia kind of got pulled into it and caught herself. members are asking Marisa what it is. And she's asking Patrick. And these are, she's explaining it. These are event marks. In most cases, event marks don't lead to combat, but sometimes they do. So it's kind of a good idea to either read ahead about some of these places, or just to save often and before you start triggering these things. But they can also represent things like treasure boxes. Like that'll give you items. Sorry, my throat just did something weird. But it represents practically everything, like finding switches, finding future party members, or just finding people to talk to, or things like that, or even teleporters. So there you go. And she mentions that our sight radius is only one step away, like for just revealing things. The good news is, as new events might pop up in floors you've already explored, it's easy to spot them. What she means by that is actually, if you open your map, it will show you the new event points, which is useful. I wish I knew that like a lot sooner than I ended up learning about it. Of course, Marisa is saying that magicians are all about firepower, not knowledge. Oh, there we go. And this is the music that I prefer. It's I find it's a lot more varied, like for various floors and stuff like that. The special disc only has like 2 different songs for like a majority of the main game, but the regular disc has like a lot more battle songs. So there you go, including boss music. I'll go ahead and show off what Focus does. Focus, that's all it does. Okay, what it really does is it boosts your SP back up. It's a way to restore SP without swapping out your party. Anytime your party members aren't in the front row, they will gradually regain SP based off their SP recovery and their speed. So that's something to keep in mind. So let's go ahead and do Soul Sculpture. Okay, that didn't kill them. We'll do Earthlight Raid. There you go. One, blah blah blah. I'm gonna go ahead and swap Sakya out for Reimu. And we'll keep on going. Sorry, I'm pressing the wrong key. There we go. So let's just keep exploring. It's kind of like one of those old, I don't know what game I can really describe. The only one I can really think of personally is like Swords and Serpents for the Nintendo, or maybe like the old school Ultima game where it was like practically like line drawings. But it's something like that. So there we go, let's go ahead and continue. We're fighting another opponent, blah blah blah. Hit that a little bit harder. Let's go ahead and just use a Yin Yang Orb and see how that does. Kill that in 1 hit. I'm gonna go ahead and attack. Yeah, as you can see, they don't really do much damage. We'll go ahead and just do Gen Gust. So generally a good idea is actually to conserve your SP at the moment, because right now you go faster than all your opponents. Whoa, hello. We found an event. It's a piece of paper that was dropped, and it seems to be from Aya's notebook. Aya is a Tengu, a Crow Tengu to be exact, and she tends to be a news reporter that tends to do a lot of sensationalism. So she's kind of like Fox News. So there you go. Actually, she's probably worse than Fox News, just with how her stories end up going. She just fabricates a lot of things. And Marisa just picks it up. So right now it didn't do anything, but it could be something important for later on, particularly with Aya, for example. We'll go ahead and attack this blue place. I'm just doing it to do a little extra damage. I'm gonna go ahead and focus these 2 characters, just to restore their SP. And I'm gonna go ahead and do Wind Spell. There you go, kills him instantly. As you can see, Patchy does a lot of damage already magic, which makes her pretty good as a clearer. Bad news is she doesn't have very much TP, so as you can see, she's already down to 5 after a few fights. I'm pressing the keys again, because I'm awful. There we go. Well, let's go ahead and explore this way. Why not? Sorry, adjusting my seat. Alright, so let's go ahead and continue. We'll go ahead and use Spear Gun here. Killed that in one hit. And we'll go ahead and, well, we'll focus. And then we'll use Magic Missile. There we go, killed that in one hit. So there we go. Alright, you can see there's another event here. And here's Chin. The cat Shinkigami. Sorry, I can't pronounce that correctly. And just like all the other characters, I'm using custom sprites and portraits. If I really want to, I can replace all these pictures with smiley faces if I really wanted to. But then it would be really hard to keep track of the conversations. Though maybe make them a lot more amusing. So they find Chin. It's Ran's Shikigami. There we go, I pronounced it correctly. And Ran is a Shikigami of Yukari. And now she is annoyed that they don't remember her name as Chin. Also, Ran is like a I think she's a 9-tailed fox. I don't know if it's actually 9 tails, but she has multiple tails. A multi-tailed fox person. There you go. Anyway, they wonder why she's not with Ron, because she's usually always with Ron. And she doesn't know what happened either. When that little vortex popped up, Hakurei just suddenly went off, and Lady ran after her. So they're like, huh, those two people rushing off somewhere. And now they decided that they are the actual culprits and they should go after her. Chin's not very happy about this. As always, pause the video if you want to make sure, if you want to read the actual text. I'm just kind of summarizing it. If you really want me to read the text, just let me know. But of course that will mean you guys actually want me to do this playthrough. So there you go. If it does come to that case, I might just start over real quick and just do the text, but nah, I probably wouldn't do that. That would be torture. But there you go. We should hurry up and catch the tails of the culprits. Oh, I just did it. Blast you, YouTube. Alright. She doesn't know what Lady Hakurei is doing, but she's obviously taking Ryan's side and saying Ryan wasn't doing anything. And then she asked if they're Ryan's enemies, and they all just said yes, we are. Completely. And now they're gonna see what they're gonna do with Chin. And from what it sounds like, they're about to beat her up, apparently, because they're very violent. But Chin runs away. And Marisa scolds them for bullying. And now they're saying that Vermilion said they were going to cook her. And now they're saying that the Chin ran off saying things that a villain's henchman would say. But Reimu takes a step back and realizes they probably look more like the villains at this point. But they get back to the cat, and then they're like, well, she's probably around here somewhere. Which is kind of a hint to kind of explore more and see if you can find her again. So, if I had already explored this entire map... Sorry, wrong key. if I'd already explored this entire map, there'll be an exclamation mark originally here, and when I hit here, it will disappear, but another one will pop up somewhere. I don't remember the exact order. You actually kind of have to chase her down a few times. So, we'll have to see if we can find her again. But first we have to deal with some more enemies. Let's go ahead and focus. Mainly, for the early stages, it's really just about kind of managing your stamina as you explore this place. I mean, you can always go back and forth, but, you know, it's always good to kind of get everything done without constantly, you know, dealing with the small stuff. So there we go. Right now, actually one thing I could do... No, I can't really do that. What I could do... Actually, yes, I can. I'll do this instead. Now, if multiple characters get their turn at the same time, whoever has the fastest speed rating will go first. But if they're all equal, it goes from left to right. And since everyone starts with 100 speed, that's there you go. So let's go ahead and keep going. We'll go up this way. So my intention for doing this, because right now tanking is not really a big issue, so I don't really need Vermilion in the front. I'm gonna go ahead and focus. And that brought me up to 21 SP, which is actually very pitiful. She actually has a very low recovery rate, so she's kind of a blast and forget type character. But we do have this evil ceiling circle, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it. Did most damage to the left, but none to the right. We'll go ahead and focus with her, and end it with a Spiro Gun. It's a cool looking move. Some of these spells, the animations will be like a shot formation, very similar to the shot types from the Touhou series, or from the fighting game. Yes, this game has a fighting game. It's actually rather good. Alright, so we've already explored up there, so let's go down here. Usually when I explore, I kind of just do the right-hand method, but right now I'm just kind of picking random directions. We'll go ahead and focus one more time. Okay, that was useless. Alright, what I can do is go ahead and focus. Okay, this might be a little bit of trouble. Let's go ahead and cast this spell. Killed a few of them, and paralyzed 2 of them. What paralyze does is literally stops their action bar. Now, if your action bar is full the moment you get paralyzed, you get 1 more action, and then you'll not regain any. You won't get any action as long as the paralysis remains. How long the paralysis remains depends on how strong the actual status effect is. Like, there's different strengths. Like, Reimu's is actually rather weak as a paralysis, but so it doesn't last too long. Also resisted very easily. But there's other characters that are a lot harder to resist and last for a very long time. It's also kind of based off speed, so it's just something to keep in mind. So these guys are paralyzed, thankfully. So we'll go ahead and blast this. There we go. So now we're... Oh, there goes Patchy. Unfortunately, the paralysis wore off before we can get an action. Well, we'll go ahead and do misdirection. And we'll do an attack. Okay, that wasn't good enough. And now she's dead. As you can see, 1-hit kills on a lot of these characters. We'll go ahead and just end it with a yin-yang orb attack. So the bad news is we just lost like half our party, and those characters are now only getting 85% of the XP. So it's kind of a good idea to go ahead and head back and pick these guys back up. So let's go ahead and, well, I'll go ahead and show off Rest. What Rest does is, you choose the Rest, and it drains TP from all your party members, but restores some of their SP. I've never really used it. So let's go ahead and go back to Gensokyo. And our formation gets restored and blah blah blah. So there we go. Let's go ahead and level up our characters. As you can see, we have actually some experience, so we only have enough to do 1 level up right now. So you level up and you get to choose where you put the point. You get 1 point per level up. So for Reimu, I would say just go ahead and go Mind and make her like a, well actually, I'll go Magic, so I can do better healing. It's kind of hard to pick. I'll just do Magic for now. I'll at least make her Magic, I'll make her spell stronger. Her is easy, just do Magic. Patchy, do Magic. Amelia, do Attack. And Sakia, I don't even know what to do with Sakia. With her, I'll do Attack, why not? She can be okay as an attacker, but she needs a better setup, which I don't really have the characters for right now. But we'll go ahead and save our game. Save. As you can see, Vermilia's in the front now. Whoever is in the battle, if you're sorry, since she was always in the front row for practically this entire little session, she's gained the most battle points compared to everyone else, because I did shuffle the other ones to the back row a few times. As you can see, we fought 8 battles, we played this game for an hour now, so we're kind of making slow progress at the moment. That's due to me talking. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the video off here, and we'll continue a bit later on the Depressed Eeyore, and this is Labyrinth of Touhou. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys later.